it's me, Hatsy, and I'm back with another dream home. So I'm really excited to bring about this series because it's been very highly requested on the channel. I haven't shared a dream home for a good 2 months now, and I'm excited to bring them back because I really enjoy doing them. I just didn't have the time because I was moving and stuff, but now I've settled in a little bit for the time being until I move again. Because I'm sort of in between houses at the moment. But no, I thought I would take it on again and try my best at doing daily videos, or maybe not daily videos, but every other day. And then when I move to my new house, hopefully, fingers crossed, I can bring back daily videos again because I miss them to bits. But anyway though, this house is for a London family. I think that's what the description said, more or less. And the family were made by a simmer called BD Hyde Jung. So thank you for the family because I absolutely loved them. And the description on the gallery was, the Rose family is the wealthiest family of Newcrest. Oh no, I put on the wrong gallery. To start with, I had no idea. Their bank, the Rose Bank, is the biggest and oldest bank in Simsland. Okay, that's somewhere that doesn't exist. So maybe it could fit into Willow Creek there. The family has ruled over the upper class for decades. With their good looks, fabulous wealth, and their charming manners, there is no question why. Every generation of the family has lived in the Rose Estate, a big, symmetrical red brick townhouse in a London/New York style. This inside is very classy but not dated. Further information inside the notes. So I read through all the notes because there was like a few of them, and I tried to make it over 750,000 simoleons, which was one of the things, but I couldn't scroll through every single note because it seemed like a lot of them, but I really enjoyed it. So I hope that this was what the family were looking for. I hope that they haven't already found a home. I hope that it will be able to fit them really well. And yeah, if you want to make a family for the series, then please go ahead. The hashtag is Hatsy Homes, so it's pretty simple, but you could go find it on the Sims 4 gallery. And I favourite most of the households, like I really do. I spend so much time on there just looking at the new households that you make. And I always like just making different homes. So it doesn't have to be like a really cheap one, doesn't have to be like a really expensive one. You can make whatever family you want. It could be the family that you're currently playing with, and I will try my best to make them a house because the plan is to make a house every single week and try and bring it back in the best way possible. I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. So yeah, anyway, I got a lot of inspiration just by looking at English websites for houses, particularly Rightmove. I use Rightmove for everything. Rightmove was where I think I found my house, I think. Strangely, because with a lot of new builds in England, they often advertise other properties, and then you go there, then you get your hopes up because it's a completely different house on the photo. You're thinking, well, why would you put a different house there? It just doesn't make sense. Like, I'd actually rather them take a picture of the plot. But I guess that not everybody's like me, so maybe it would be a better idea to do that. But yeah. Anyway though, I did try and make it symmetrical. The back isn't though, just because I'm not too keen on symmetrical houses. Like, I've tried it before. I think I tried it with a Great Gatsby's mansion, and there was a few complaints because a lot of people were like, oh, the staircase is slightly off. And I mean, that's because I like it slightly off. And I think that with this house, I did sort of do the same thing. Try and make the front symmetrical, but the back not. Because London houses look very neat from the front, but when it goes around the back, I don't think that they do very much. That's what I found on these websites. I mean, I've never been in a house like this, personally. I don't think that I ever will. If I do, I'm going to do a tour of it. I don't care whose house it is. I'm just going to go in with a camera and just vlog the whole thing, just because it would be amazing to see inside a house like this. And yeah, it was fun. But the house itself, I think it has like 4 floors. You could probably have an extra floor in the attic if you wanted to. But when I did the interior, I think you only decorated like 3 floors. I did do a separate apartment because that was one of the comments as well. One of the comments in the description for the family was, the house has to have an apartment for Scott and Lynn in the attic or basement, study, sun, tea room, those sorts of rooms. Please use your imagination. So yeah, I mean, I try my best. I think it looks quite nice by the end though. I mean, the front is pretty basic, I think. It's just a lot of repeating myself, things like that. I tried a while ago to do a massive mansion, and it was sort of like the front of this. Oh, I actually wish I shared the speed build because it was really good. I tried to do Monterey Palace. I think I might do it again. like maybe this year, because I think my buildings have got a lot better recently. Because I tried to do it like when I first started YouTube and it was just an ultimate failure. Like my computer specs weren't up to the job and it was so glitchy. So I just thought to myself in the end, you know what, I'm not going to share it. Because there was absolutely no point in sharing it, just because it wasn't what I wanted it to look like in the end. Anyway though, onto the front garden. The front garden is really cute actually, I love it. And I know that most London houses have like a basement bit like around this park, but I didn't want to include it because it's too many floors. You're gonna lose your Sims if you carry on. So I thought, no, I'm just gonna have a nice little pretty garden area, because for a very fancy mansion, like for a banker's house, I would imagine that they would probably have a garden. Maybe anyway, maybe if you get to the point in London where you are so mega wealthy and you can afford something that's like, I guess like 30, 40 million or something crazy like that, then there is nothing stopping you having a front garden. So that's what the family have got here. Now I do wish that I could have the scenario where we would have like loads of townhouses all lined up. Maybe we will, I doubt it, I actually doubt it though. Because we've recently got, well, City Living, it's coming out soon. But I don't know if they'll ever make another city expansion pack. It would be cool because I know that they mixed in a lot of different ideas. They had different ideas coming in from like London, New York. They sort of took inspiration from Japan as well. So I don't know if they would create the individual capitals of each country. I'm not sure. Anyway, tried to finish off the garden here and tried to put in some red and white plants, just because it's the Rose family and everything's like red and white. Even though red and white is supposed to be really unlucky, I always got told as a child never to buy anybody red and white flowers because apparently it's really unlucky and it shows like hospital colours. Strange though, because even the florist told me that, because I didn't believe my mum. I was like, do you know what, I don't believe you. And I tried to buy someone flowers and they were like, are you sure you want to go for red and white? So I didn't in the end, because I was talked out by it by the person that I was trying to buy flowers from. Anyway though, lighting up the build. So this was super important because you've got to see it, and I think that at night time I wish that houses sort of lighted up automatically. I've got this predicament at the moment where I don't want to add lights to Callywell Estate because that's like the new build that I'm working on for the new series, the 1800s inspired series. And it's difficult because I wouldn't have really imagined lights to be around at that point. So it's going to be pretty tricky for the series. Anyway though, onto the interior. So the whole inside was actually inspired by my parents' old house. I think I mentioned it maybe earlier on in the video, but I'm not sure. So my parents' old house had like really traditional colours, so not too dated, and it was quite classy. And it was really odd though, because the people that they bought it off loved it so much that they actually kept coming back to the house, which was really weird. They came back like every year trying to get a full house tour of it. It was really odd. Like, as soon as you sell a property, don't go back to it. I mean, of course you can, but to be expecting house tours, it was really odd. And there was actually one time when me and my family went to Ireland, so the house was supposed to be unoccupied, and it was just by luck that my grandparents came round to, I guess, look after the house, etc. And they got a knock on the door from the previous owners, and it was the man with his daughter, and he just like pushed his daughter forward and he said, my daughter wants to look around her old house. And they didn't know what to say, and they just said, well, you can't really because the owners are out, so sorry about that. And he started going a little bit mental at them and saying that he's came all the way from Germany, he wants to see his old house. Got really weird apparently. So yeah, I mean, he basically stormed off the property with his daughter, but it was 3 years ago after they sold it, and he came back like previously, like before that, and he looked around the house because my parents were nice enough to let him. It was really odd. So that was a strange, creepy experience. But I don't think anything particularly weird happened with that house, to be honest. I think like the weird things happened in the house before that house, which may confuse some people because I moved around a lot as a child. I move around a lot now, but as a child I probably moved around like every 5 years or so. So the really creepy experience was in my older house that I lived in with my parents. But hopefully I'll be doing a story time on that soon because that was just too creepy. It really was. But no, my recent house that I lived in with my parents, the strangest thing that happened, I think, anyway, was we had this garden gnome and it was a present off my parents' friends. And we put it outside and these people came all the way up the path, which was so long. It was like half a mile just to get to our house. It was just a real trek up and down. And they came specifically to steal the garden gnome. Not only that though, I was in the kitchen at the time and they actually banged on the window, showed me the garden gnome and then ran off. So that was interesting. We never got it back though. I don't think my parents minded too much because it was a bit strange anyway. They didn't really want that as a present. So I think they were quite glad to see it gone, but there we go. Anyway though, onto the inside of the house. So this was when I was creating the hallway. I wanted it to be really grand. I think that it was wise that I talked over like the whole part of setting out the carpets and stuff. That's like the most boring part for me. I always find that picking the colours is just the most indecisive part for me. So I usually edit a lot of that part out, but I think for this house I left it in just because I wanted all the same sorts of colours running throughout. And I also wanted it to look a little bit like a doll's house because a lot of people commented when I put a picture of the exterior up on Twitter that it looked like a doll's house. And I thought, well, yeah, it does a bit actually. And I never had a doll's house like this as a child, but I did have a house which did remind me of the way that the inside was set out. So there we go. A lot of the rooms are really big as well. And I would imagine that London townhouses would have that. I honestly don't know, but I have been in a townhouse, not in London, but it's like it was a Georgian inspired house, so I don't know how similar that would be to what you would see in London. It was like a big suburban home though, and all the rooms were really square, so I thought that I would take inspiration from there too. So yeah, loads of big rooms, but I think that's really nice though, because if you have a family that's maybe you want to keep an eye on them. Maybe you're not too good at playing the game like me, because I'm not. And I think that for me, the easiest thing to do would be to have really big rooms. So that's what I would recommend. It's actually a really playable house because I didn't use any BB move objects, I don't think. Maybe for like the odd picture. And yeah, I think it looks good. So I think that for the inside, it was just making sure that a lot of the rooms just matched each other, and I was really excited about that. I think like one of my favourite parts about the build was actually the attic though. Strangely, I think that I would like to live in the attic of this house. My sister lives in the attic of my parents' house, and I always got really jealous of it because she's got like a whole floor up there, but it's not very good at the same time because it means that she never comes downstairs. So yeah, she's just like a little person in the attic. Anyway though, moving on to the miscellaneous rooms that I decided to put in just because I had enough space. So there is a little study, there is a piano room as well, because I thought that with a massive family you want some skill building things in there, and I don't know, they strike me as a really talented family. So I thought that having a piano, having like a really grand one, in a room by itself would look really good. So I like the idea of that because it's like a separate music room and you could use it for anything. If you really wanted to, you could turn it into like another bedroom, or you could turn it into a DJ room, which would be pretty cool. But I don't know, maybe it would go against what the house is sort of supposed to be, because it's supposed to be like really classic, and I guess that a DJ sound would be really modern or futuristic. So maybe it wouldn't go too well, but there we go. Anyway, moving on though. So this was when I started to do the kitchen. Now I did really strangely put a bathroom in here. I think that was a bit of bad planning on my part. I don't usually plan the interiors, I just tend to go for it. And I did with this, like I just placed the rooms down wherever they landed. I decorated them. So maybe I wouldn't have put that bathroom there if I'd have done the build for a second time, just because it's a really weird place. But then again though, this is supposed to be a lounge in here. This is supposed to be like the main lounge area, and I think that it looks okay by the end. The idea was that maybe they would sit and socialise here like while they were waiting for their food. And a really weird thing though is the family clung to this room. Like when I was filming the little machinima introduction part with the family, because I always like to do that for the series just to make it look a little bit more like theirs and just not like an average house that just could belong to anybody. So while I was doing that, they really did want to be in this room a lot, and that was nice. So hopefully if you do download the family and you do download this house, then fingers crossed they will cling to this room as much as they did in my game. Hopefully anyway. The really weird thing was these curtains were absolutely impossible to install. I don't know how I did it in the end, to be honest. I spent so much time doing this part, and I don't even know why this would have blinds, because would anybody be looking into this window? I don't even think they would, to be honest. I think that they would just go around the town part by the road, so nobody even goes past here. You get the odd really weird sim. It's just creepy. Sometimes it happens. I don't know if other people get this in their games, but I do get the really odd sim sometimes that likes to use the back doors to places. And then you get the ones that just come into the house and you don't know they're there and they just hang around, then you can't get rid of them, etc. So maybe watch out for that, because, well, maybe that's where the blinds are there, because maybe if there's like a really creepy sim in the game, then yeah, that's a good idea. I wish that we could make our own NPCs. I think that's what it's called. I would love that option. So you could make like your own creepy sim in the neighborhood. You could like personalize them. So you could have like a burglar, you could have somebody that would just look really creepy walking around your village, stuff like that. That would be really good. I don't think that they will, just because I think that it would be a lot of effort for them to implement into the game, but I'd love that personally. And something really weird as well is I installed this mod, which is the MC Commander mod. It's amazing. In fact, I would recommend it to anybody, especially if you do machinimas. It's so good for it, and it makes my life so much easier, because like I can actually program the sims to have certain moods and stuff, and yeah, it's just easy. Like you can do so much with it. And for cheats and things, which I use a lot, it's just so convenient for me. But yeah, anyway, I did this really weird thing where I changed around the population, and I don't know how to reverse it. So if anyone's like a massive expert on this mod, then please help me, because honestly, I've done a really bad thing. And what I did is I programmed everybody to look like they were from the Day of the Dead. So now everybody in the whole town has skeleton masks on. Like, there is no doubt about it. If there's a townie, they have a skeleton mask on. I don't know how to get rid of it. And it's fine for Let's Play Witches. I can deal with it, and it looks quite nice with the town, I guess. It looks like everyone's in disguise. Oh my goodness. With Callywell Estate, though, I don't know what I'm going to do, because, yeah, like, even without the mods in the game, it's still there. So I have no idea. I'm probably going to have to play around with the settings and just hope. But the idea was that I would get everybody looking like they were from the 18th century or like that sort of time. Even though we don't necessarily have every single outfit, I thought that if I could just put everyone in like a dress or a suit, it would look okay. So yeah, there we go. Hoping that things will get better, but honestly, I have no idea. Anyway though, moving on to the upstairs of the house. So we've got a few bedrooms up here. I think the house ends up with 5 bedrooms in total, which is pretty big. Like, I think it's difficult to have 5 bedrooms all used in a house usually. I know that some people really want me to make an 8-bedroomed house, which I'm pretty sure that I've done. I must have done it in the past, but if not, I will do it, because yeah, I've just got to. Like, an 8-bedroom house wouldn't be difficult. It'd just be like a house like this, but just more bedrooms, I guess. So where I put like that piano room, I would remove it, and I would put a bedroom downstairs, and I would do that all the way throughout the house. But no, so just repeating things upstairs. There is a really nice balcony area out here though. I did try to use the garden stuff, but oh, I thought this was really weird though, because I don't remember this umbrella being see-through. So that just massively messed with me when I was thinking about it. I was thinking, well, is that a glitch in the game, or is it me installing loads of mods? Like, what have I done? And then I thought, well, no, because I think that maybe it's just me forgetting that we got a see-through umbrella. So maybe it was supposed to look like that. But I think that's really nice. And you can have a hot tub out there if you want to change it around. But I thought that I would have a seating area, just because if it was a townhouse, then maybe that would be a nice thing for the family to have instead of a hot tub. Because usually these townhouses, you can see everybody from your garden, etc. because they're so close together. So maybe a hot tub wouldn't be the best idea. Really creepy story, actually. I used to have a friend, and strange because she was actually my bridesmaid at my wedding, but we sort of faded after the wedding and we're not that close anymore. But I went to a house one time and she had this hot tub in a back garden, and I remember seeing a man, and he was like maybe 3 or 4 houses down from us, and it was the creepiest thing ever. He just like stayed at his window, and after that her parents actually sold the hot tub and stuff just because it was really weird. Like, it happened a few times. Just this man would like purposefully watch us in the hot tub. It was just creepy. So yeah, I mean, I would never have a hot tub in an area that like loads of people could see you. It'd have to be like really private. I don't know. So yeah, that's just my personal feeling about it. Anyway though, going on to the main bedroom, this changed around so much, and I was happy with the room. I think maybe like 20 minutes into decorating it. I spent a long time decorating this room, and I think that I ended up with like a lot of browns, a lot of like blue colours as well. So it's supposed to just look really traditional, but it is the biggest room. And to be fair, something that you could do if you wanted to, you could put a door leading out to the balcony from this room, so it could be like a walk-off balcony, which is really popular for like really grand bedrooms, and maybe bedrooms like they would be in a house like this. So yeah, maybe that would go really well actually. You could put like a door to the side of it to lead off to that balcony, and you could do that. Anyway though, yeah, so I decided to put some kitchen cupboards around the top of the bed. And I did that because I couldn't think of anything else to put there, and I thought that I wanted it to look like there was loads of storage. And also, I hadn't used a pool table or like a football table. Some people call it foosball, I call it football. So I put one of those tables in the room just because I thought that was a bit quirky. I don't know who would use it or like why it would be there, but I thought, well, it's got to have a twist. It's like a massive room. I needed something there, and that's what I decided to put there. Anyway though, onto the upstairs of the build, which is the upper floor. This is like the attic, like what I'd imagine to be the attic. It's not exactly the attic because it is a floor above this one, but I didn't decorate it. You can decorate it if you want to, but I decided not to because there was like enough room in the downstairs, so I didn't think that it was really necessary. But up here, it's supposed to be a separate apartment area, and it would have worked really well if we could have our own apartments in the Sims 4 City Living. So from what I can remember, you're not allowed to have your own apartments in Willow Creek or Oasis Springs, which I'm not very happy about. I wish that we could, because that would be an amazing feature. And for those of you that watch my other videos, I love when we get content that can really change the game for us. Like, we could really use it over and over again and not get bored. And I feel like that would be a really big thing to add that we don't have at the moment, which would add to playing the game. But a lot of things in City Living, don't get me wrong, it's wonderful, but a lot of the benefits, like for instance apartment owning, etc., just happens in the world that we're given. So I do wish that it was sort of spread amongst Willow Creek, Oasis Springs, Windenburg, etc., to make it a little bit more like there's something happening, and yeah, you can have apartments and stuff, which would be really good. Because apartments as well, from like what I've experienced, I've never had an apartment in a city. The apartment that I used to own with my husband, we used to have an apartment which was slightly out of the city, because we used to rent an apartment in Basel in Switzerland, and we lived in an area which was like the countryside area just out of Basel. So yeah, like that's what I've personally experienced, and I think that it would be good to get all those different ideas as well. Because from my experience, the really creepy stuff happens in the countryside. And I've got so many creepy apartment stories, which I'll probably share on the channel at some point, because I really enjoy sharing creepy stories. And I think I will, like when I get everything set up, when I get my camera set up and stuff, I'm going to do some story times, things like that on the channel. Anyway though, finishing off the main bedroom upstairs. So there is a little bedroom for the girl, because I thought that she would live with her parents. I think they're her parents. I hope I didn't lose track. I really hope not. And I think that she'll be able to use that room, hopefully. Another thing as well, it doesn't matter like how much you write for these descriptions. You don't have to go into like so much effort and stuff. Of course I appreciate you putting loads of effort in, but you don't have to. You could just put like a really simple description, because sometimes I like to make my own stuff up, but sometimes I don't. It just depends. And yeah, hopefully I will pick some more families next. I'm excited. I think that next I'll be doing maybe a pretty house, maybe like an Italian pretty home. So maybe I'll pick a family for that. And you'll probably see it up on Twitter if you're curious to like what it looks like and stuff, because I know that a lot of people ask like, what's the next house going to be? But you can often see it on Twitter because I usually post pictures of my builds before I share them anyway, just because I like to keep everyone updated to what I'm doing and things. But if I don't post anything, it's because nothing's going on. It's because, like, seriously nothing's going on at that point in my life. Anyway though, doing the dining room. So we've got like a kitchen, a diner here. I love this area though because, I don't know, it's nice because it's so cozy and you can have the family up here. And they could go and visit their son. I think it's their son, or maybe it's their daughter actually. No, I think it's their son. So they could go and visit him with his family up here and they could have like meals and stuff. And it's nice because they're living in the same area as well. And I think that a lot of people do that in London. I know a few people that did rent off their parents and things in London. I didn't personally like go to the house or anything, but it's like a friend of a friend of a friend, etc. of people that I know have done that in the past, just because London's really expensive to buy in. So it definitely makes a lot of sense to know that the children or like the child of the family would still be living here. But anyway, moving on to the lounge area. The lounge changed around a lot. I had an idea that I wanted a green lounge, but I think it ends up being blue, which I slightly preferred. I think that it does look a lot better. Also, something that I didn't mention, I did something that I've never done before with chandeliers, and I didn't create that idea myself. I actually got it from watching Freezer Bunny's videos, and he's amazing at decorating mansions. And I was watching his videos the other day because I'm actually going to be putting in some of his mansions that he's done into the new Let's Play. And yeah, I got that idea off him. So that is like not my idea whatsoever, but I think that it makes the chandelier look so good. And it doesn't twitch, like it doesn't clip between pieces. So it works really well, and you can use that like for yourself if you want to. I think it looks really good though, and for mansions that's going to look amazing for like a grand ballroom. I can't wait to be decorating some mansions with like simple tricks like that, because sometimes it really helps watching other people's videos, especially like when you're stuck for ideas yourself, which sometimes I can get, especially for mansions, because mansions take so long to decorate and there aren't enough items in The Sims 4 to decorate them completely, especially when you can't add things like electronics, things like that. But anyway though, that is the end of the build, so I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see your future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.